Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop chasing someone, they start chasing you? It's almost as if the power shifts instantly. That's the hidden psychology of detachment, especially when it comes to women. Men don't just admire it, they crave it. Today, let's uncover why the power of female detachment is one of the most magnetic forces in attraction. Detachment is not about playing games, nor is it about being cold or uninterested. It's about holding your ground, knowing your worth, and refusing to lose yourself for someone else's attention. When a woman detaches, she radiates confidence. She's not desperate for validation, which makes her presence more valuable. Men instinctively respect women who have boundaries because it signals that she is not easy to sway, not easy to possess. This sense of scarcity triggers desire. What's rare is valuable, and men chase value. By being centered, calm, and self-assured, a woman shifts from chasing attention to commanding it. Detachment also protects emotional energy. Instead of reacting to every little thing, a woman in her power chooses when and how to engage. That self-control doesn't just inspire respect, it fuels attraction. You ever notice how the people who don't beg for attention are the ones who get the most of it? Think about that for a second. The loudest one in the room might get heard, but the one who sits calm, collected, and unbothered, that's the one everybody wants to figure out. That's the power of detachment. It's not about being cold. It's not about being rude. It's about standing in your own light without asking anyone else to turn it on for you. When a woman walks into a room and she ain't pressed about who's looking, she instantly stands out. She ain't trying to prove anything. She's not trying to beg for energy or attention. She's moving like she already knows her value, like she already stamped her worth before she left the house. And you know what happens. People notice. Men notice. Because confidence doesn't have to scream, it whispers, and it echoes louder than anything else. See, when you're detached, you're not desperate. Desperation lowers value, but calmness raises it. Think of money for a second. If a dollar was falling apart, torn up and dirty, you wouldn't see it the same as a crisp, clean bill, even though the value is technically the same. Presentation matters. Energy matters. When a woman is chasing a man calling, texting, asking, "Where you at? Why didn't you call?" her value lowers in his eyes, not because she's less of a woman, but because the energy feels needy, and neediness ain't attractive. But when she pulls back, when she knows she don't need to beg, when she's detached from the outcome, she becomes rare, and rare things get respected. There's a story about a jewelry shop in a busy city. One day, the owner put a diamond bracelet in the window with no price tag. Every other piece had a price on it. People walked by and ignored the ones with numbers, but they stopped and stared at the one without. Why? Because nobody knew what it cost. It became mysterious, and the mystery made it valuable. That's how detachment works. When a woman doesn't put her worth out there like a clearance sale, when she holds it close, people want to know more. Men start asking, what's her deal? Why isn't she chasing like the rest? And that's the moment she shifts from overlooked to unforgettable. Now, let's go deeper into this. Detachment ain't about cutting yourself off emotionally. It's about balance. It's about not losing yourself in somebody else's presence. Too many people get caught up thinking love is about giving all of yourself away. But if you lose yourself in somebody else, what's left for them to admire? When you hold on to your independence, when you keep your own passions, your own hobbies, your own goals, you become a whole person. And whole people attract, broken people chase. There's a saying, people respect what they can't control. Let that sink in. If you're always available, always ready, always giving, people take you for granted. But the moment you say, I'm busy, or I can't right now, I'm working on myself, that's when they stop and notice. That's when they start putting respect on your name. Detachment teaches people how to treat you. It sends the message, I don't need you, I choose you. And if you don't choose me back, I'm good either way. That's powerful energy. Let's move to the second point. Scarcity increases desire. This is one of the oldest truths in human psychology. What's rare feels valuable. You don't see people lining up at the store for water on a normal day, but let a storm come through and shelves are empty in minutes. Why? Because scarcity changes how we view worth. When a woman is detached, she becomes scarce. Not scarce like hiding, but scarce like selective. She ain't available to every call, every text, every man that approaches. And that scarcity makes her desirable. A man looks at her and thinks she must be valuable if she's not chasing anybody. What does she have that others don't? That question alone creates curiosity, and curiosity creates desire. Here's a quick story. A man owned a vineyard with rows and rows of grapes. Most of them were open for picking. But there was one row he kept behind a lock gate. Visitors could see the grapes through the fence, but they couldn't touch them. Guess which grapes people asked about the most? Not the ones they could eat freely, but the ones behind the gate. Scarcity made those grapes the most desired. The same principle applies to human nature. When something or someone feels like it's not available to just anyone, people want it more. Detachment is that locked gate. It's not about saying you'll never get in. It's about saying access has to be earned. That scarcity keeps men motivated. It keeps them chasing. It keeps them investing, because what's easy to get is easy to lose. And what's hard to get is hard to forget. But let me tell you something. Scarcity only works if it's real. You can't fake detachment if you're pretending not to care, but deep down you're desperate. It shows. Energy don't lie. Real detachment comes from knowing your value so deeply that you don't have to prove it. You don't have to beg for attention, because you already give that attention to yourself. There's an old quote, when you stop chasing, the right things find you. And that's what scarcity really is. It's not manipulation. It's self-respect. It's understanding that the more you value your time, your energy, your presence, the more others will too. Think about it like this. If a man knows you'll drop everything the second he calls, he won't value your time. But if he knows your schedule is full, that you're busy working on your life, that he's got to wait for a piece of your time, suddenly that time feels like gold. Scarcity turns ordinary minutes into treasures. Detachment also creates space, and in that space, desire grows. Have you ever eaten your favorite food every single day? After a while, it don't taste the same. But if you step away, if you only have it once in a while, it feels special again. Relationships work the same way. Constant availability kills mystery, but a little space keeps things exciting. I remember hearing a story about a painter. He had 2 canvases. One he painted on every day until it was finished quick. The other he worked on slowly, adding a little here, a little there, walking away for weeks before returning. Guess which painting people admired more? The second one. Because the space between brushstrokes gave it depth. Detachment gives relationships that same depth. Scarcity increases desire, but it also filters out the wrong energy. When you're not always available, the ones who truly value you will step up, and the ones who are just passing time will step out. That's the gift of detachment. It doesn't just attract the right kind of attention. It protects you from the wrong kind. The truth is, people always want what they can't easily have. That's not a trick. That's human nature. But here's the key. You can't weaponize detachment just to make someone chase you. That's surface level. The real power is when detachment becomes who you are, not just what you do. When it's natural. When you're so grounded in your own worth that you don't even think about it. That's when the attraction is unstoppable. So ask yourself this. Are you giving away your energy too freely? Are you too available, too quick to respond, too easy to reach? Or are you moving like someone whose time is precious, whose love is priceless, whose presence is rare? Because the answer to that question determines whether you'll be taken for granted or truly valued. Detachment builds value. Scarcity increases desire. And together, they create a magnetism that can't be faked, can't be forced, and can't be ignored. When you learn to master them, you stop chasing attention, and attention starts chasing you. You know what separates people who get respected from people who get used? Boundaries. A lot of folks think love means giving without limits, but the truth is, when you got no boundaries, you end up empty. Boundaries ain't walls, they're doors, and you control who walks through them. When a woman sets boundaries, she's not being difficult, she's being valuable. She's saying, my time, my energy, my love, it's not for everybody. It has to be earned. And the moment she does that, men move different. Respect comes from limits. If you don't draw the line, people will cross it every single time. Imagine a city with no traffic lights. Cars would crash every minute. Boundaries are those lights. They create order. They make people slow down, stop, pay attention. When a woman shows she has boundaries, she's teaching a man how to value her presence. If he knows he can't talk reckless, he won't. If he knows he can't disappear and come back whenever he wants, he'll think twice before playing games. Boundaries shape behavior. There's a story about a farmer who had a field full of wild horses. If he left the gate wide open, the horses would scatter, running in every direction, hard to control. But when he built a strong fence around them, they stayed close, calm, collected. That fence didn't trap them, it guided them. That's what boundaries do in relationships. They guide respect. They show people where the limits are. Without them, chaos runs wild. And here's the thing. Boundaries don't push good men away, they attract them. Weak men run from rules, strong men respect them. Because a man who's serious about you will never be scared of structure. He wants to know what you expect, what you won't tolerate, what you need to feel safe. And when you communicate that, when you stand firm on it, it builds trust. He knows you won't just bend for anybody. Let's be real. People test you. Sometimes they don't even mean to, but they will. The first time somebody talks to you crazy, the first time they don't call when they said they would, the first time they cross that line, you got a choice. Either you let it slide or you check it right there. And if you don't check it, you teach them that disrespect is allowed. But when you got boundaries, you don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to argue. You just stand firm and say, that doesn't work for me. That's power. There's an old saying, what you allow will continue. Boundaries are the way you stop cycles before they start. When a man sees a woman hold herself to a higher standard, he either steps up or steps off. Either way, she wins because she's not wasting time with someone who can't rise to her level. Now let's connect this to the next truth. Detachment strengthens attraction. This is where the game shifts, because when you detach, you're not just building value for yourself, you're actually building desire in the relationship. People confuse detachment with distance, but they're not the same. Detachment is emotional strength. It's saying, I love you, I care about you, but I don't need you to complete me. That kind of balance keeps the fire alive. Think about a fire for a second. If you smother it with too much wood all at once, it dies. But if you feed it slowly, give it air, space to breathe, it burns stronger and longer. Relationships are the same way. Too much clinginess suffocates, but a little space, a little detachment lets the attraction breathe. Here's a story I heard once about a man who collected rare watches. Every time he bought a new one, he wore it non-stop for weeks until the shine wore off. Then he'd toss it in the drawer. But there was one watch he only wore on special occasions. He didn't keep it on him all the time. He'd bring it out, polish it, put it back. And because of that, he never got tired of it. It stayed valuable to him because it wasn't always in his face. That's how attraction works with detachment. It keeps people appreciating you because they don't get to consume you all at once. Detachment also gives you control over your emotions. When you're too attached, you react to everything. A late text ruins your night. A missed call makes you panic. But when you're detached, you move different. You're steady. You don't let small things shake you. And that calmness is magnetic. People want to be around someone who doesn't lose themselves over every little thing. There's a quote, the less you react, the more powerful you become. And that's the truth. Detachment is power because it shows you're not controlled by someone else's actions. You love freely, but you don't lose yourself. That makes you stronger, and strength is attractive. Let me give you another angle. Think about the music industry. When an artist drops a song every single day, people stop caring. It becomes background noise. But when they disappear for a while, then come back with a masterpiece, the world stops and listens. The scarcity, the detachment made the moment powerful. That's the same energy in relationships. If you're always available, always around, people get comfortable. But when you pull back just enough, when you let them miss you, the attraction grows. Now don't twist it. Detachment ain't about games. It ain't about making somebody jealous or ignoring them on purpose. That's manipulation. Real detachment is about being whole on your own. It's about saying, my happiness doesn't live in your pocket. I create it for myself. And when you move like that, people respect it. They admire it. They want to be part of it. Detachment also protects love, because when you're not clinging, you give people room to choose you, and chosen love is stronger than forced love. If somebody stays with you because they want to, not because they have to, that bond is unbreakable. I once heard about a couple who had been married 50 years. Somebody asked the husband, what's the secret? And he said, we gave each other room to grow. We never tried to cage each other. We loved, but we didn't control. That's detachment in its highest form. It's love without chains. And that kind of love lasts. Boundaries and detachment go hand in hand. Boundaries create respect. Detachment creates attraction. Together, they make relationships stronger, healthier, more balanced. A woman with boundaries is respected, and a woman with detachment is desired. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't break. She stands tall, and because of that, people rise to meet her. So ask yourself, are you setting the standard for how people treat you, or are you letting them decide? Are you holding on to your power, or giving it away? Are you loving with balance, or losing yourself in the process? Because the answers to those questions determine not just who you attract, but how long they stay and how well they treat you. Detachment strengthens attraction because it keeps love alive. Boundaries earn respect because they teach people how to value you. When you master both, you don't just win relationships, you win yourself. At the end of the day, female detachment isn't about pushing men away. It's about drawing them closer by standing firm in your worth. When you stop giving away your power freely, others begin to rise to the challenge of earning it. And that is the psychology of attraction, confidence, boundaries, and the undeniable magnetism of detachment.